First, tall Hector, with helmet flashing, led the Trojans, Priam's son, and in his command by far the greatest, bravest army, divisions harnessed in armor, veterans bristling spears. And the noble son of Anchises led the Dardanians, Aeneas, whom the radiant Aphrodite bore Anchises down the folds of Ida, a goddess bedded with a man. Not Aeneas alone, but flanked by Antenor's two sons, Acamas and Archilochus, trained for every foray, and men who lived in Zelia under the foot of Ida, a wealthy clan that drank the Aesopus's dark waters. Trojans all, and the shining son of Lycaon led them on, Pandarus, with the bow that came from Apollo's own hands. And the men who held the land of Ephesus and Adrestia, men who held Patia, Terea's steep peaks, the units led by Adrestus, joined by Amphius, trim in linen corslet, the two good sons of Merops out of Percote harbor, Merops, adept beyond all men in the mantic arts. He refused to let his two boys march to war, this man-killing war, but the young ones fought him all the way. The forces of Black Death drove them on. And the men who lived around Percote and Proctios, men who settled Sestos, Abydos, and gleaming Arisbe, Asius' son of Hyrtacus led them on, captain of armies. Hyrtacus' offspring, Asius, hulking, fiery stallions bore him in from Arisbe, from the Selleis river. Hippothous led the Pelasgian tribes of spearmen, fighters who worked Larissa's dark rich plowland. Hippothous and Pyleus, tested soldier, led them on, both sons of Pelasgian Lethus, to Thomas's scion. Acamas and the old hero Pyrrhus led the Thracians, all the Hellespont bounds within her riptide straits. Euphemus led the Cacones, fighters armed with spears, son of Treasonus, Chia's son, a warlord bred by the gods. Pyrechmes led the Paeonians, reflex bows in hand, hailing from Amydon, far west, in the broad river Axius, clearest stream that flows across the earth. That burly heart Pylaemenes led his Paphlagonians out of Anetian country, land where the wild mules breed. The men who held Cytorus and lived in range of Sesamus, building their storied halls along the Parthenius river, at Cromna, Aegialis, and the highland fortress Erythene. Odius and Epistrophus led the Halizonians out of Alybe, miles east where the mother lode of silver came to birth. Chromis led the Mysian men with an enemies seer of birds, but none of his winged signs could beat off Black Death. Down he went, crushed by racing Achilles' hands, destroyed in the river where he slaughtered other Trojans too. Ascanius, strong as a god, and Phorcys led the Phrygians in from Ascania due east, primed for the clash of combat. Mesles and Antiphus led Maeonia's proud contingent. Telemenes' two sons sprung from the nymph of Gygae lake led on Maeonian units born and bred under Mount Tmolus. Nastes led the Carians wild with barbarous tongues, men who held Miletus. Thyres ridges thick with timber, meanders currents, and Mount Mycales craggy peaks. Amphimachus and Nastes led their formations on, Nastes and Amphimachus, Nomian's flamboyant sons. Nasty strolled to battle, decked in gold like a girl, the fool. None of his trappings kept off grisly death. Down he went, crushed by racing Achilles' hands, destroyed at the ford where battle-hard Achilles stripped his gold away. And last, Sarpedon and valiant Glaucus marched the Lycians on from Lycia far south, from the Xanthus swirling rapids.